Everyone thought the next great supercar would be electric, silent, instant, packed with screens and software. But then, out of nowhere, Toyota showed up with something completely unexpected. A twin-turbo V8, rear-wheel drive, no complicated gimmicks, and a clear message: driving still matters. Now think about that for a second. In 2026, when almost every brand is moving away from combustion, Toyota just went in the opposite direction, and not halfway, fully committed. Because this isn't just another performance car. This is Toyota stepping into territory dominated by cars like the Porsche 911 GT3 and saying, we can build something just as exciting in our own way. And honestly, that changes everything. But before we dive into it, make sure you subscribe if you're into supercars, automotive deep dives, and the stories behind the machines. Because this one isn't just another launch. This is Toyota rewriting how we look at performance cars. So let's get into it. It all starts in Japan, Fuji Speedway. No massive global reveal event, no overproduced cinematic trailer. Just a car sitting there, quietly, almost confidently. And the moment you see it, something feels different. Low, wide, aggressive, but not in a flashy, over-designed way, in a purposeful way. This is the Toyota GR-GT, and instantly, it challenges everything you expect from the brand. Because this doesn't look like a super evolution. It doesn't look like a concept. It looks like something far more serious, a machine built with intent, and the proportions tell the story before anyone even says a word. That long, stretched bonnet, almost exaggerated. The cabin pushed far back, like a classic front-engine supercar, and a tight, sculpted rear that looks ready to rotate the moment you push it. This is a front-mid engine layout, which means the engine sits behind the front axle, not in front of it, and that changes everything, because it allows near-perfect weight distribution. And weight distribution is what defines how a car feels when you drive it, not just how fast it goes in a straight line, but how it behaves in corners, how it communicates, how it responds. And this is where things start to get really interesting, because under that long bonnet, Toyota didn't go electric. They didn't downsize, they didn't compromise. They went with a 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8. Let that sink in. In 2026, a brand new V8 supercar, producing around 650 horsepower and roughly 600-plus pound-feet of torque. Now those numbers are strong. But here's the part that really matters. It's not about how much power it makes, it's about how it delivers it. Because Toyota didn't just build an engine, they built an experience. The V8 sits up front, but the transmission is mounted at the rear, connected by a torque tube that runs through the center of the car. And this setup is all about balance. It spreads the weight evenly, it lowers rotational inertia, and it gives you a more connected feel when you're driving hard. But here's where things get even more clever. There's an electric motor in the system. And no, this isn't one of those heavy hybrid setups designed to boost efficiency. This is different. The electric motor is there to fill the gaps, during acceleration, during gear shifts. So when you're pushing the car and you change gears, you don't get that momentary drop in power. Instead, the power keeps flowing. Smooth, continuous, relentless. Now think about what that does to the driving experience. You get the raw emotional character of a V8 with the seamless delivery of modern technology. It's not about replacing the engine, it's about enhancing it. And this is where things change. Because Toyota isn't trying to out-electric everyone. They're trying to make the best driver's car possible, using whatever tools actually improve the experience, not just what looks good on paper. Now let's talk about the structure. The GR-GT is built on an aluminum space frame, lightweight, strong, rigid. But Toyota didn't stop there. They've used carbon fiber in key areas, like the roof, bonnet, and rear sections. Why? To reduce weight where it matters most, high up in the car, because lowering weight at the top lowers the center of gravity, and a lower center of gravity means better handling, more stability, more confidence. The result? A car that weighs around 1,700 kilograms or possibly less, And for something with this level of performance, that's impressive. But here's the thing. Weight alone doesn't define a car. How that weight is distributed, how it moves, how it reacts, that's what matters. And everything about this car suggests Toyota understands that deeply. Now look at the exterior again. At first glance, it's aggressive. But spend more time with it, and you realize nothing is random. Those massive openings at the front, they're feeding air directly into the cooling system. The vents on the bonnet, they're extracting hot air, reducing pressure under the hood, improving airflow over the car. Along the sides, you'll notice channels that guide air around the wheels, reducing turbulence, improving efficiency. And then you get to the rear. A subtle ducktail spoiler. No oversized active wing. No unnecessary drama. Just clean, functional aero. And honestly, that's rare now, because most modern performance cars rely heavily on active systems, movable wings, adaptive aero, complex electronics. Toyota went the other way. They kept it simple. And simplicity, when done right, is incredibly powerful. Now, step inside, and the philosophy continues. This is not a tech-heavy luxury cabin, it's a driver's cockpit. You sit low, really low, almost like you're sitting on the road itself. The carbon bucket seats hold you in place, but still offer enough comfort for longer drives. In front of you, a digital display, clean, focused, with shift lights, so when you're on track, you don't have to guess. The steering wheel? Compact, functional, with physical buttons you can actually use without looking. And that matters, because when you're driving fast, you don't want distractions. You want control. Now think about how many modern cars bury everything in touchscreens, menus inside menus, settings you can't access without taking your eyes off the road. This car avoids that. It gives you what you need, and nothing more. Even the driving modes are simple. Normal, sport, track, custom, that's it. And each one actually changes how the car behaves. Throttle response, traction control, power delivery, but it's not overwhelming. It's intuitive. And then there's traction control, adjustable levels, all the way to what Toyota calls expert mode, which basically means you're fully in control. No safety net, no intervention, just you and 650 horsepower going to the rear wheels. Now ask yourself, when was the last time a modern car gave you that kind of freedom? Because most cars today are designed to protect you. This one, it trusts you. And that's a big difference. Now let's talk performance. Toyota hasn't confirmed every single number officially, but expectations are clear. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in under 4 seconds. Top speed somewhere around 320 kilometers per hour or 200 miles per hour. But here's the truth. This car isn't about chasing straight-line numbers. Because if it was, it would have been all-wheel drive. It would have had more electric assistance. It would have been optimized for acceleration alone. But it's not. It's built for corners, for balance, for feedback, for that feeling you get when everything just clicks. And this is where the comparisons start. Because naturally, everyone is looking at the Porsche 911 GT3, a car that has become the benchmark for driver engagement. And it's not easy to compete with that. Porsche has decades of experience, precision engineering, a deep understanding of what drivers want. So for Toyota to even enter that conversation, it means they're serious. But here's the interesting part. The GR-GT isn't trying to copy the 911 GT3. It's offering a different approach. Front engine instead of rear engine, turbocharged V8 instead of naturally aspirated flat 6, a slightly more GT-style layout, but still track capable. So the question becomes, do you want surgical precision or something a little more raw, a little more emotional? Because this car feels like it leans toward emotion. Now here's something that completely changes the game. This isn't a limited run hypercar. Toyota plans to produce it in meaningful numbers, which means this isn't just a showcase, it's a product, a real competitor in the performance car market, And if they price it close to something like a 911 GT3, that's going to shake things up because suddenly buyers have a new option, a Japanese V8 supercar with proper driver focus. Now imagine that, walking into a showroom and choosing between a Porsche and a Toyota for the same kind of money. That's not something we've seen in a long time. But wait, it gets even more interesting because alongside the road car, Toyota revealed a race version, the GR-GT3. And this thing is on another level. Massive front splitter, aggressive aero elements, huge rear wing mounted high for maximum downforce, center lock wheels, slick tires. This is a proper race car, built to compete in the World Endurance Championship. And here's why that matters. Because when a road car shares DNA with a race car, it means everything has been developed with performance in mind. Not just comfort, not just marketing, actual performance. And historically, that's how the best drivers' cars are created. Now, here's where the story expands beyond just one car. At the same event, Toyota, through Lexus, revealed something completely different, an electric supercar concept, a spiritual successor to the legendary LFA. And this is where things get really fascinating. Because on one side, you have the GR-GT Raw, mechanical, driver-focused. On the other, you have a fully electric high-tech machine, futuristic, advanced, silent, but incredibly fast. And both are moving forward at the same time. Now, think about that. Most brands are choosing one direction, electric or combustion. Toyota, they're doing both. And whether you agree with that strategy or not, it's bold. Because it acknowledges something important. Not every driver wants the same thing. Some want the future. Others still want the feeling, the sound of an engine, the connection, the engagement, and the GR-GT delivers that. But here's the real question. Can Toyota actually pull this off? Because building a fast car is one thing. Building a car that feels special, that competes with legends, that's something else entirely. And expectations are high. Because when you bring back a V8, when you build something this focused, people expect it to be great, not just good. And maybe that's the biggest challenge. Because this isn't just about performance, it's about identity. It's about proving that Toyota can build something emotional, something memorable, something that people don't just respect, but truly love. And honestly, that's what makes this car so exciting. Because for the first time in a long time, Toyota isn't playing it safe. They're taking risks. They're stepping into a space dominated by legends and saying, "We belong here." And whether they succeed or not, that alone is worth paying attention to. Because the industry needs this. More competition, more bold ideas, more cars that make you feel something. And the GR-GT, it might just be the start of something bigger. A reminder that performance isn't just about numbers. It's about experience. It's about connection. It's about the moments you remember after the drive is over. So now I want to ask you something. If this car delivers on everything it promises, if it truly gives you that raw, connected, emotional driving experience, would you choose it over a Porsche 911 GT3? Or would you still go with the proven icon? Because whichever way you answer, one thing is clear. Toyota just entered the supercar game. And this time, they're not here to play it safe.